Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. If this is your first time discovering my channel, then welcome. Feel free to check out my other reviews. And if you've been here for a second or third time, thank you so much for coming back and I hope you subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, so today we're going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. Basically, the Mel and Martell show. All right, let's get into it. All right, so when the episode first opens up, we see Maurice and Marceau, and they're out there at this 10 acres of land that they have acquired, and they're trying to teach their sons about generational wealth. And basically, you know, we all need to own something. That's quite frankly what they're saying. They're saying, okay, it's okay to have Jordans and AirPods and iPhones and whatever else you're trying to get that's materialistic. But at the end of the day, what people remember you by is what you leave behind. And I thought that that was a very poignant message. I thought that was a much needed message, especially for black boys, you know, growing into men. One thing about Marceau, he is chauvinistic, but he a good daddy, honey. And sometimes when he talking, I'll be like, you know what? I can see why Tisha likes him because he has a certain something about him that's really manly. And I like that in a man. But at the same time, honey, I ain't going to be barefoot and pregnant in here cooking no, food every 5 minutes and taking care of every responsibility that there is. Now, if he can get rid of that, he might be something to look at. All right. So they're standing out there and then they start talking about the fact that they want the entire family to live on this one plot of land. Well, he's asking Maurice if everybody's on board. And he's like, I know you're on board, but what about Kimmy? So Maurice know he don't run nothing over there. So he like, oh yeah, Kimmy, she's on board. No, she's not. She has told you that several times and you keep looking at her and expecting a different answer. The girl don't want to live underneath Tisha and her mispronouncing words and ringing doorbells every 5 minutes, wanting to come in. She wants her space, okay? She does other things besides sit up and want to be involved with your kinfolk all day long. So he said Kimmy wanted to be involved, but we all know that that is not true. And we will see later on in the episode just how untrue it is. Then in the next scene, we see Mel, honey, Mel stepping out looking like a bag of money. Yes, for the bob. Yes, ma'am. Because I was getting so tired of seeing that little short cut she had in the back with that long bang swoop to one side and the 15 different color blondes. Honey, he had her looking so country first season. But, baby, this divorce was the best thing that ever happened to Mel, honey, because she is looking like something, okay? Looking refreshed, might I add. Looking like a woman who's about to make some moves, honey. You look good, okay? I just want to tell you that. You look good. And she's going to this house to meet with Destiny, who's her friend and or realtor. Honey, Destiny do everything, honey. She bake, cook. She the realtor. She the chauffeur, honey, the friend of. And now she's a cast member. Go Destiny, honey. So they meet here and she's showing her the house. And at first I was like, well, is Mel buying this house or is she just going to rent it? But as fast as she moved in, I'm assuming she's renting. So Mel is like standing against the stairs and they're talking. And so she's telling Destiny that Martel said that he wanted to get full custody of the kids. Honey, don't even repeat that no more. Ain't nobody, it's not a judge in the world unless they on some type of dog food or some kind of drugs that's going to let Martel, who have kids full time, knowing that he had a whole affair and embarrassed you, and a judge ain't gonna take the kids from their mama, honey. I mean, unless you on some type of drugs and you have a really bad problem and it's something really wrong with you, 9 times out of 10, they will grant you joint custody and there will be some kind of arrangement made. But I wouldn't even fear him talking about he want to take full custody. That sound crazy, child. Destiny was looking like full custody. Girl, all right then. So then Destiny starts telling her about Martel and how he's going around doing his smear campaign. And he told them that Melody cheated. Bring the receipts out, Martel. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we have heard over and over and over about this girl cheating. And I mean, if there's something that will redeem you, let us see. I mean, do a live or something. Give me something to go on. Because right now, I mean, I'm Team Mel. And I just don't see it. So if you have the receipts and you can show it, then let us see. Because otherwise, you just talking, child. You ain't talking about nothing, honey. You talking in circles, going to each and every person saying the same old thing, honey. It don't make no sense. So then after that, we see Tisha and she goes over to Kimmy's house. And is it me or it's something about Kimmy that just, I don't think she's as nice and picture perfect as she puts across on the screen. because to me she seems so annoyed with Tisha. I don't know what it is, but it's like when I'm looking at her facial features and her not her facial features, her facial expressions, it's just something about her that seems like, oh my God, what do you want? That's just what I get from her. So, you know, she made this homemade lemonade, honey, or whatever, child. You know, that's what they do in the South, honey. Phaedra used to be in there churning up berries and doing everything else on the Housewives. So Kimmy is in there making some lemonade. They go out to the patio area and they start talking. So Tisha is trying to convince Kimmy that she should move to this area so they can all be together. And she's like, I want to have a sisterhood. Tisha, do you have any biological sisters and or brothers, honey? Get them. Because Kimmy be acting like she too good for you. And I don't know if that's just my opinion or how do y'all feel. Y'all can tell me down in the comments. But to me, it's just something about Kimmy that reads, okay, girl, I'm listening to you. But in my mind, I'm thinking, girl, shut up. Or when she leaves, I talk bad about you. Not to Maurice, because he gonna run tell that. But to some other people that she might know, even some people in her family. It's just something about Kimmy that I cannot quite put my finger on. So anyway, let's get back to it. So Tisha is trying to convince her, and Kimmy was like, no, I like my space. I like to be in my home. I don't want people popping up. And so Tisha was like, well, we can make some bylaws. Oh, Tisha, honey, let's focus on things that matter. Okay. Let's focus on the kids. Let's focus on you having a storyline outside of Marceau. Let's focus on all things that make Tisha happy, and not that podcast, because to me, it's hard for Tisha to articulate a sentence. And every time I hear her, it seems so hard for her to get her words out. So I just want her to, not that podcast. Don't do that podcast. It's fine to come up with something that's your own, but let's do something a little different. So as they're talking, they start talking about Mel and Martell, because, honey, they are the talk of the town, honey. Nobody can have a conversation on this season without talking about the stars of the show. So they started talking about Mel and Martell and how Martell came by on his world tour, and spoke to her and Marceau and let them know that it was some things going on at home. Basically, Mel did it, okay? I wanted to be y'all friend. Mel didn't want to be y'all friend. That's a whole lie, Martell, okay? Because last season, Mel actually went around without you. And I had forgotten about that, but I did a little refresher. And I'm like, okay, you were the one saying you didn't want to be around Marceau because he was putting your stuff out there. Basically, he didn't want to back you up, you know, because homeboys, they usually stick together. If one of them lie, they all lie. But see, Marceau was like, nah, I'm not trying to get wrapped up in that. So he was just like telling a little bit of your business, and you didn't like that. Let's just keep it real. So he went to them and he was saying that basically it was Mel and that he wanted to apologize. So Tisha is telling Kimmy, you know, I'm happy because Marceau was really hurt over this. And so she's like, oh, okay, well, if it was that easy for them, then it should be that easy for you and Mel. And she's like, no, Mel's a mean girl. Okay, now everybody keeps saying that Tisha is childish for wanting to, you know, not wanting to have a conversation with Mel. Is a mean girl to her. She might not be a mean girl to everybody else, but she does treat Tisha like, honey, the scum underneath her shoes. It's kind of like she almost bullies her because she feels like Tisha is not as well read as she is. And, you know, I just don't feel like she treats her with respect. And Tisha has gone to her several times and tried to make it happen. You see, the girl got escorted out the event last season when she tried to go and have a talk with Mel. And so you want her to keep doing that? That doesn't make any sense. So she went to Kimmy and she's like, you know, I need to know that you're on my side. Are you team me or are you team Mel? I'm just trying to figure it out. Either you're with me or against me. Now that part I don't totally agree with, because y'all are all friends. Y'all all came into this situation as the comeback group. And Kimmy has had her own dealings with Mel, and she's had her own fallings out with her. But at the same time, they recovered. So you can't expect her to just not talk to Mel because you don't like her. Now, that is some high school stuff, honey. I'm with you on the mean girl. But now just saying now nobody can talk to the girl. Nah, we can't do that. So then we go over. Now we're at the scene where Mel is packing up her things, honey, to get gone. Okay? So she's packing up all of her stuff, getting herself together, and then her mom stops by. Her mom reminds me of Miss Diane, Porsha's mom. That's what she reminds me of. You know, honey, when Porsha got kicked out, honey, Cardell kicked her out over Twitter, honey. He was like, I cannot do it. And he sent out this mass tweet letting her know, don't come home. And so she was thrown out on the steps. And so she had to go stay with Miss Diane. And, you know, Miss Diane was so caring, honey. You heard her daughter, and that's all she wrote. And this is the same way with Mel and her mom. So Mel is standing there telling her about how she's happy that, she's moving out. But then she repeats again that Martel is ignorant and has said that he wants full custody of the kids. Boy, you think somebody finna give you full custody to go lay up in there with that woman that you're cheating with, with that baby that you're having, to make a ready-made family just add water? Boy, if you don't go sit down somewhere, honey, you don't make nobody sense. So as I'm watching this scene, though, a little side note, did y'all see that picture that was on the dresser? I was like, ugh, okay. Some things are just better left turned down, honey. She should have turned that picture face down. As I'm packing, I don't want to look at Martel kissing me on my back. And I mean, ugh. It didn't even look like Martel. I guess that was before the facial hair and the cheatation, okay? So she's talking to the mom, and the mom's like, I don't have any more respect for Martel. Because when you hurt my child, you are no longer I don't have respect for you. So then, honey, they give the mama a confessional. Yes, for the confessional, honey, mama came in with the black bob jet black #1, honey. And with the bang, honey, not the bang, okay? She comes in and she does her little confessional, and she just lets it be known, honey, it's not gonna work, okay? You thought that I was gonna still be kikiing with you and in your face and you mistreating my child? The answer's a big net, hell no, okay? So after that, then we go over to Martel, honey. He's so delusional, child. He's telling us about this project he got going and how they are about to name, child, I was finna say fencer, honey. He done got me so country, child. I'm from the South too, honey, and I say they finna, honey. So he was sitting there talking about how they are about to name this development Holt Manor. Okay, honey. So as he's sitting here talking about what all's happening and what all's doing, he gets his friend comes, who is a real estate broker. And so they're sitting down and they're talking, and he's wondering when they're going to close on the land and how the progress of the, development is coming along. So the friend, kind of hemming and hawing a little bit. I guess he don't want to really just break the news to him, but the news needs to be broken. So his real estate broker, Chris, is talking to him in the, this little bubble that Martel lives in. He's like, yeah. And then they said, I'm going to be the face. And they said, it's going to be called Holt Manor. And the real estate broker was like, well, due to you acting a fool on Beyonce's internet, they don't want you to be the face anymore because there's a lot of backlash and a lot of uncertainty when it comes to you. And basically, honey, the women, okay, the man is the head, but the women move the neck and the head back and forth. So no one is going to want to live at Holt Manor when they know you are behind it and you're basically a scumbag, is what he wanted to say. So we're not going to be moving forward with that part. Martel, honey, he never gives up. He's like, well, we can change that. It's okay, we can change that. I mean, it's not set in stone. They don't want you to be the face. It is set in stone. Like, what are you talking about? So then the real estate broker says, then Chris says, well, what's going on with your co-parenting situation? Martel's like, well, it's not too good, but Mel made me cheat, No, that was your decision. You decided to go out and seek this girl because Mel was not stroking your ego every day. This is what I think happened. This is just my opinion. Okay. I think that Mel and Martel were chugging along in their relationship. Chug. They were doing well, honey. Okay. Things started to happen. They were now being a very, they were a power couple at this point. But then Mel started to have her own identity. That's one thing all these men on this show have in common. They want the women to follow behind them. No, we want to be an independent entity. Who run the world? Girls. Okay? They want to do that. So I feel like Mel started to come into her own. And once that happened, she wasn't there telling Martel how fine he is. She wasn't laying spread eagle every day when he got home. She wasn't cooking 3 square meals and 2 snacks a day. The kids' hair probably wasn't combed every day. And he didn't like that. So he felt like she no longer needed him. So when that happened, he went out and found this little young thing, honey, that didn't have nothing but a Honda, honey, and a bag of Skittles. And he was like, hey, what's up? And she saw Martel, and honey, that was the best thing that she had ever seen. So then he goes out and buys her a BMW so she can match his fly. Because let us not forget that. Y'all remember when Tisha brought that out, that Martel had bought that girl a BMW? So he bought the peasant a car so now that she could be exactly how he is. And when that happened, Then all of a sudden he started cheating, honey. That's exactly what happened, child. And y'all can disagree with me down in the comments, honey, but we gonna be arguing. No, I'm just kidding. But just tell me how y'all feel about it. So he's like, well, you know, she made me cheat, so I told her I wanted full custody. Chris looked at him and said, full custody, dude. Okay, that's some old arrogant BS right there. You just doing it to hurt that lady. And he is. Because he was like, children need to be with their mother. And he was like, did you think about this when you were cheating? And instead of Martel saying, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that and I should have. This man gonna say, this boy, because he's not a man. This boy gonna say, well, did you think about that when you was cheating? I'm like, ugh. Honey, I don't even know how people can surround themselves with Martel. It's not enough air in the room. His head is so inflated that he is taking up all of the oxygen in the room. How can y'all even fit in there where him and his ego are? I don't understand it. So the man was like, no, I didn't think of that. And don't try to, and I bet the man was thinking in his mind, honey, if we wasn't in this situation right here and these cameras were rolling, I been and took off this jacket and it'll be on. How dare you try to bring out my infidelities and deflect what you're going through? Like something is, child, okay. There's something really wrong with him. Then we go back over to a scene where we see Marceau and Tisha and they're talking. And Marceau seems like he's starting to listen to Tisha a little bit more. Tisha just wants somebody to listen to her. She needs one ally. Marceau ain't really that good at being on her side. He always trying to, like sometimes he wants to tell her the right thing and the wrong thing. Sometimes we just want you to listen while we vent. And all we want you to say is, you know what, you're right. Oh, you don't like her, so I don't like her. That's what we want you to do. Stop trying to offer advice. We don't care really what you have to say. We just want you to listen to us and vent and be on our side. And that's what Tisha wants. She wants Kimmy. She wants Marceau. She needs somebody. So maybe next season we can give Tisha a best friend to bring on the show so that she can have somebody to roll with, honey, because she's just out there, honey, just by herself hanging. She's talking to Marceau, and Marceau is talking to her about, she's talking to him about the situation with Kimmy and how she feels like she's going to back off from Kimmy because Kimmy is not really team Tisha. So Marceau was like, well, instead of backing off and shutting down, how about you express yourself to her and then see how things go? But honey, they couldn't even get started, honey, because here come Miss Wanda, honey. Miss Wanda, I love when Miss Wanda step on the scene, honey, because Miss Wanda stepped in with her pink curl ponytail, honey, from 2001 with a few purple streaks in it, honey. And Marceau and her and their interaction with each other is so funny. Them two need their own show. This man said, when I seen her coming, I felt like I needed to be protected. He went in there and put on gloves and a mask. Child, I am done with Marceau, honey. He actually is funny. When he talks to Miss Wanda and the way they go back and forth, that is hilarious to me. And then Miss Wanda was like, well, you know I got a new man. And he was like, and you got your ring on and you married? And she was like, well, I've been separated for over 5 years. So she was basically saying, honey, I'm not going to let all this go to waste. I'm going to get it popping. So then she starts to talk about Martel and Mel's situation. And they basically were like, we want to stay out of that. That don't have nothing to do with us. And Tisha is thinking, please don't bring that up again, because I almost found out my husband was cheating, okay? I don't want to know. I want to be in the dark, okay? I want to talk with my lisp. I want to take care of my kids. And I want to find somebody to be on my team. I don't want to know nothing about Marceau cheating. So don't start bringing this up, because every time they think we're talking about them, they try to remind me that Marceau has cheated on me as well. Marceau gonna look at Wanda and say, do you think you messy? When he said that, I said, not that he asked this woman who is his mother-in-law if she thinks she's messy. So she was like, no, I just think, I'm nosy. I'm like, I know that's right. You are nosy and you are kind of messy, just a little bit. So they're talking about that. And then after that, here we go, Maurice and Kimmy. So Kimmy comes over to see the office. And so, he's telling her everything that he did. And she's telling him he's spending a little bit too much money. So then they start to get into this nice, nasty argument about her son. And her son wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to own Airbnbs, land, development. He wants to follow in Maurice's footsteps, basically. But Kimmy thinks that he should be working a 9-to-5. Kimmy, this is not 1992, honey. I mean, people are making major moves with less. At least he has something to go off of. Let the boy be an entrepreneur if he wants to be one. You can't control him forever. And that's what Maurice was trying to get across to her. But she was looking at him like, no, this is my kid. I run this. And what I say goes. and they're looking at each other, and I think they be really fighting. Okay, now when I was looking at this scene, they were trying so hard. Them as a couple, they try so hard not to argue where we can see. They're one of those behind closed doors couples. But I'm looking at the eyes that they're giving each other, and when she said, just leave it alone, honey, I bet they be having knockout, drag out fights in that house, honey, because Kimmy look like she be hollering. Is her real name Kimmy, honey? You're too old to have a name like Kimmy. Is your name Kimberly? I'm going to call her Kimberly from here on out. So Kimberly and Maurice are having a bit of an argument, honey. It don't seem like they're going to agree on this. So we're going to move on past them, and we are going to agree that they are going to disagree. And it's going to be some furniture moving at the house a little bit later. Because Maurice don't seem like he play, and Kimmy don't seem like she play. And so, child, we'll see how that goes, honey. And one thing I wanted to add too, remember when I was telling y'all that I don't feel like Kimmy is what she appears to be? Y'all remember last season when Maurice's ex-wife came on and she said that Kimmy was the alleged mistress? And that always stuck with me, and it had me looking at Kimmy some kind of way. And, you know, she was like, well, we were friends. Child, old people always trying to talk about they were friends first. Now, that was my little friend. No, that wasn't your little friend. You stole that woman's husband, honey. Okay? Don't think I forgot. Anyway, so in the final scene, this is what we need to get to, honey. The final scene of the Mel and Martell show. We see Mel, and she's outside with the kids. The kids are playing basketball. Everything's moving in slow motion. You know, looking real BET-ish. Okay, so they're playing outside, and then all of a sudden, here comes Martel stomping up the sidewalk, talking about, "Hey, kids." And Mel was like, I had to give him my address just so he could come pick up the kids. No, you didn't, girl. You didn't have to get that man your address. Let me tell you how the hood girls do it. They meet at McDonald's in the parking lot. You want the kids? I'm going to exchange them at the local Walmart. Okay? Meet me over there where they sell the tires and they do the oil changes. Don't come to my house. It's no reason why he needs to be over there. So to me, that was just an open invitation for him to come and act a fool. So he comes traipsing up the side of the sidewalk, and she's like, what are you doing here? This is my time with the kids. You know, this is our time. And he was like, well, wherever my kids are, that's where I'm going to be. No. You want to control everything. You want to run two households. What is wrong with you? Like at this point, I'm thinking you're mentally unstable, and it's almost seeming kind of fatal attraction type mess. Okay. And I mean, it's really getting scary because you don't want this woman. You've said it countless times. And I mean, your actions have shown it. If you wanted your family, you should have been a family man. You should have kept your vows and took things more seriously. But you did not. So when he comes up the steps, she's asking him, why are you here? And he's like, well, wherever my kids are, that's where I'm going to be. And so she was like, well, no, this is our time. And so he says, well, let's not argue in front of the kids. Then he proceeds to turn around and say, kids, y'all gone on in the house. Your mama finna start fussing. Well, see, right there, I would have shut him down. I would have said, okay, you showed up here unannounced. Then on top of that, you're trying to make it like I'm the one that's starting the arguments. You're coming here to get something started. He loves to rile this woman up. He loves to get her upset. He loves to see her in pain. This is actually satisfaction. She's giving him too much, honey. I would give him nothing. I would pay him absolute dust. Oh, you're here to see the kids? Okay, cool. Kids, let's pack up your things. You're going to go with your dad. Honey, don't be stopping by and driving by and popping by. Don't do none of that. Don't come around here. You don't live here. And he is trying to manipulate this entire situation, control her to make sure she doesn't get anybody ever. You don't want her, but you don't want nobody else to have her. Typical of a narcissistic man who has lost. Okay. So then he proceeds to say, well, you know, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do. You were cheating on me. She's like, oh, I'm not cheating on you. You know how Mel, honey, that high pitch in her voice started talking, and she was like, I was not cheating on you. I was like, oh my God, please, honey, please do not get her started. Now, Mel, I'm on your team, honey, but when you start doing that little high pitched thing, that's just too much. That is just entirely too much for me. So she was talking to him about how if she cheated, then show it. I mean, if you got the proof, like I said, come on, show us what you got. So Martel is going around and about with her, stirring up mess because he just wants to see her upset. And then he's like, well, why weren't you taking care of me? It doesn't matter why she wasn't taking care of you at this point. You have a baby coming. Oh, and I forgot to add that she told her mom that during the time that it was Mother's Day, Martel came and they took the kids to the beach, and when they got home, he told her that the girl was pregnant. You gonna hurt this girl on Mother's Day, a day meant for her? You gonna tell her that you turned the side piece into a mother? It is something extremely wrong with you. So Mel, she getting infuriated at this point. And then, you know, a little bit of the hood came out, but she didn't really know how to be hood. She was like, well, let me tell you this, my boy. I'm like, not my boy, honey. Even he said, my boy. He was confused. Oh, Mel. Child, he is running her crazy. And the producers had to step in and separate the two. Don't come to her house with that nonsense. Don't do that. And then we are in the middle of a pandemic. It's already enough stress. Y'all getting a divorce. The kids are seeing this. And I know the kids can hear y'all hollering, honey. They're not in a panic room down in the basement. They can hear. And she was like, I don't want you. I'm not with you. And he was like, I don't want you. Okay, that is the first true thing that you have said since this has been going on, that you do not want her. That is definitely the truth. So then he goes on down. After he got her all riled up, blood pressure going up, she mad. He proceeds to go on down the steps and get in his car and leave. Martel, it is something wrong with you. You need some psychiatric help. Okay? You have already made your decision, and your decision was to go with your mistress and be with her and start your family there. Now, this lady got 4 kids. Honey, I don't know how this gonna pan out, honey. I know when you have a little bit of a celebrity, the amount of kids that you have, it really don't matter. But for those of us that are regular schmegular, and we done had 4 whole babies, and now we got to find a man, honey. Oh, this is just inexcusable. It's just something, child. This was just too much. This episode was really good. Martel, honey, nobody is buying. Nobody's picking up what you're putting down. No one, not even your own mama. And mama, you didn't raise Martel right. I'm gonna blame this on you, because you're gonna say you just like your daddy. You didn't raise him right. That's just the bottom line. He didn't have any guidance. And I feel like you babied him, and now this situation has unfolded, and then he's coming loose at the seams. He is losing his mind. Okay? He is basically losing everything. And so now he's just unraveling right before our eyes. But Mel, I want to tell you, honey, Mel, you winning. And that's all we need to know about this episode. All right, so that sums up my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 2, Episode 12. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be reviewing this show on a weekly basis. And next week we have a giveaway, because I did reach 500 subscribers. So I'm so excited about that. And guys, please check the comment box down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so that my following can grow. I love you all for watching. As always, stay safe, stay blessed. Spread love, not germs. Peace.